went to the go dang, and then I dang-oed. The Ophelia was a ho, ho, ho. Hey. You there? Hey there, you there. You there, hey there, you there. Harpoon launcher. Oh, cool. Casty rides. So, Mama, how'd you sleepy? Yelling? Which way? Left or right? I don't think one trank arrow will be enough, but that's all I got, so we're gonna try it. Pretty good, Mo. Pretty good. really bad and then pull my items out on the other server. Is it half built? Let's go in. that's fine.
Symphony. Real quick, if you have 8 months.
Palmiento. Ay, yada, man. God smiles sometimes. Right next to me, supply crate. I'm not even dead from the last time I played, which is pretty lucky. Parasaur. Ichthyo. Ichthyo's pretty cool. 1 hour, nice. So first let's refresh everything, honestly. Got too many damn dinosaurs. Honestly, should fight a boss with all these fuckers. keep the Megalosaurus out. Let's have some fun. Give 24 hours. Set an alarm for 22 hours with a note to get your stuff out or it all dies. Right on time. Oh, cryo. That's fair. I did a lot of cryo weirdness before. I'll just give him some armor. Stuff is fixed. This is how the game's supposed to look. Jesus Christ, why did it look like dog shit before? Horrible. What's that there? Nothing. Alright. Let's do it. Oh no. Doubt this one's me. Oh, nice. It's a blueprint, but that's fine. It costs 20, really. only takes crystal for cryopods. Must be with mods. Male, high level Dagon. 100 is not bad. Jellico. How much thatch do you get with 15x? They were beasts at getting thatch before. Oh, 2500 just like that. Ding dong, I just said. No. Defunct? Recently defunct. Still burning inside of him, man. Damn. They just turned off the generator. It's still smelting. Less than 3 hours. Eve, sweet. Poor girl. Not a bullet left. Sorry to see that, Eve. Okay, we're filled up over here, but I think prime over spoiled. No, I don't have a saddle for the day dons. This will do that. Let's get the yeeling out of here. Oh, I'm gonna go up. And if anyone finds me on the beach, they get a nice bonus. Now let's eat breakfast. May as well give points. We could buy the world, man.
That was weird. Them down like Shenmue did. Shenmue still has the best QTs of any game.
Pliny Part 2, dude. Yes! Historia Naturalis Part 2, yes! Salmonella 1 hour ago. New Salmonella upload means drop everything you are doing and watch. So we'll go for 1 and then 2.
Most of them are fixed.
Pliny explains it all. I just remember it's extraordinarily entertaining. I'm not gonna read the Spark Notes, but Salmonella is the best.
Hey, persons of age. So, long before the era of the wiki, there used to be these things called encyclopedias, where for a small fee of thousands of dollars, they would mail you a tiny fraction of the knowledge we have access to today, and you could put it on a shelf, and it would sit there and make you look learned. But while not reading an encyclopedia is easy, not creating one is much easier, and yet we do it. Encyclopedia Britannica is still in circulation today, and it's maintained by around 100 full-time editors and more than 4,000 contributors. So whose idea was this? Who was the first person to sit down and say, today I feel like writing down everything? To answer that, we must look nearly 2,000 years in the past, to the mid-70s AD. Pliny the Elder, author, philosopher, veteran, imperial administrator, and one curious buckaroo. Early in his life, Pliny's father took him to Rome to study law. Then, as a young adult, he spent several years as a junior officer in the Roman military. His interest in literature made him a few high-ranking friends there, and when he came home, he took to writing. Unfortunately, a certain apocryphal fiddler was in charge at the time who wasn't exactly kind to intellectuals, so Pliny kept it on the DL, mostly writing about things like grammar and rhetoric, which at the time few people found worth freaking out over. Fortunately, in June of 68, Nero finally took a hint and killed himself, and following the chaos of the Year of the Four Emperors, one Vespasian came out on top. Vespasian was a general and a friend of Pliny's, so when he became emperor, he promoted Pliny to procurator, which was like the governor of a province. Suddenly, with this guy on the throne and a cushy job to pay the bills, Pliny found himself in a position to make complete use of his own potential. By day, he continued his administrative duties, but during nights, he wrote. And over the course of a few years, with nothing but his own wits and whatever authors he could get his hands on, he created a work known as the Historia Naturalis. This consisted of 37 books, each broken up into many dozens of chapters, covering just about every topic there is. While it wasn't quite an encyclopedia in the modern sense, it's still the earliest surviving attempt at an all-encompassing scholarly work, and it is a trip. I've been reading it. It is fascinating, not only as a reflection of what people did and did not know in the Roman Empire, but also as a reflection of Pliny himself, who is a character and who made zero attempt to hide it. So today I come to you with a brief summary of the first part of a brief summary of all human knowledge according to one dude circa 77 AD. Now the original thing makes for a fairly long read, even removing most of the more uninteresting details. I've only managed to fit the first 2 books into today's video. As for the other 35, we'll see. I'm gonna let Pliny do the narration himself using my voice. He gets a lot of things shockingly right and a lot shockingly wrong. Rather than constantly chiming in with fact checks, I'm just gonna throw chess.com analysis icons in the corner for every claim he makes. I'll also provide relevant snippets of the actual text I'm paraphrasing just for reference. If you're one of the people who likes to pause the video just to see the funny ha-has I snuck into the freeze frame, rest assured there will be none today. You can just let it play. One last warning, while there is a loose overall structure to this thing, it also seems like Pliny just kind of wrote whatever was in his head for a given chapter. He has a habit of jumping back and forth between completely disparate topics and going on weird personal tangents in between. I am presenting this thing in the exact order it's written, so if it at any point seems utterly scatterbrained, it's his fault, not mine. Anyway, take it away. Yo. Right, let me get right ahead of things. These books are strictly about this world and the things we can see around it. If you're one of those madmen who think there are other worlds beyond this one, give it a rest, alright? That's psychotic. You can't know these things, and you can't grasp infinity. Stop trying, you'll hurt yourself. So the heavens are a perfect sphere, and they spin around us perfectly. It takes 24 hours for them to do one spin, which is actually really fast because the universe is huge. In fact, massive objects all whooshing around us this fast should be incredibly loud at all times. Why isn't this the case? The whole shebang is composed of 4 elements, right, which sort themselves by weight. Earth is heaviest, so it falls to the middle of everything, into a sphere, and it stays still. It's the only still thing. On top of that is water, then air, and fire's the lightest, which is why the sun and stars are made of it. The sun kicks ass, easily the best of the 7 things up there. Basically a god. Not literally. Don't try to answer questions about God's nature, by the way. You'll just confuse yourself. There's at most one God, and he's everything, and he doesn't do weird human shit like getting jealous or banging other gods. I swear, people just make up new gods every time they want something specific. Let me tell you, there was a temple on Palatine Hill dedicated, through my tax dollars by the way, to fever. Like, the illness. You understand that's bad shit, right? Things like that are why we've got more gods than people at this point. Folks in other countries worship animals and obscene things like stinking meats. There are gods of theft and other crimes. It's all folly. You want to be godly? Just help others. That's the way of the old Roman nobles, and that's the way of the noblest noble of all, Emperor Vespasian Augustus, who may or may not be my best buddy. But anyway, if there is a god, he doesn't care about what you do. People put crazy emphasis on the religion, avoiding foods, worrying themselves sick about all kinds of sacred rules. Look, I hang around the Capitol. There's a lot of rat bastards in politics, real scumbags, and they are thriving. You don't need to torture yourself. Have a bacon. Nobody gives a shit. Back to the stars, which by the way also don't give a shit about you specifically. For big history-changing stuff, yeah, they'll act up, but you, reader, do not need to worry. Anyway, most of them are fixed in a sphere really high up there. We'll call this the heavens. Between the heavens and the earth, there are 7 other bodies to talk about. Highest up there, we got Saturn, then there's Jupiter, Mars, the Sun, Venus, Mercury, Moon. The heavens spin to the right, all these guys spin to the left. Saturn Saturn is cold, Mars is hot, but Jupiter's just right. The sun's orbit is made up of 360 degrees, 1 degree per day, except not quite. We have to add 5 1/4 days or else our sundials break. Down to Venus and Mercury, these guys are weird because they like to hang around the sun. Fun fact, Venus is actually bright enough to help out the sun and moon sometimes. When it's helping the sun, we call it Lucifer, the light bringer. And when it's helping the moon, we call it Vesper, the sleepy time guy. Mercury tries to do the same thing, but he's much more lame and cringe, so he can't. The moon's got phases, as you know, and she gets closer and farther away at different times. And Daimion figured out lots of cool info about the moon's orbit, and you assholes bullied him for it. Yeah. This man unraveled the secrets of the universe, and in return, everyone goes, "Oh ho ho, he's in love with the moon." That's because humans are sick in the head. They'd rather read stories about bloodshed and massacres like that matters more than the fabric of reality. Get a clue. Anyway, the moon has phases because of the way it borrows light from the sun, which might be what these other guys do too, we don't know yet. All those spots on it are actually puddles because it likes to draw up moisture from the earth, which is where we get the tides. And every now and then, it casts its shadow on Earth. We call these eclipses, and they are freaking wicked. Eclipses can happen the other way around too, and the way these happen prove that the moon is bigger than the Earth and the sun's way bigger than both of them. Oh, and just so we're clear, eclipses are a natural thing. It's not the apocalypse or God's wrath. They follow rules, even the Greeks could predict them. Settle down. Back to the planets, they're all kind of in the same belt up there, and they all get farther and closer to us at different points because their orbits are complicated. They mostly follow the same rules as each other, but there's some goofiness, like the ones further than the sun move the slowest when they're the farthest away from us, but the closer ones move the quickest then. We can chalk this up to the sun emitting vapors that must push them around in weird ways. Thunderbolts
crafting a small BLT. You don't have to do the whole pack. Was that really good bread right now? Got some of You want me to pull it out? Yeah. Then what? But I want that BLT now! Should I play some Sonic in Fortnite? Even Fortnite. Oh. still got stuff on my mouth. I didn't wipe it. Where? Bacon going yet? Ha! Hey! Don't be like that!
Come from Jupiter, and we don't know why. One theory is that it's because Saturn is very moist and Mars is very fiery, and when they meet in the middle, we get celestial fire thrown down at us. Same reason a wet log crackles and throws off embers in a fire. There is a type of star that moves around and vanishes. We call these comets, and they come in all kinds of flavors. These might actually be omens. I mean, there have been some weird coincidences. Some people think comets are permanent, and we only see them when they swing by the right way, while others say they're just flare-ups of celestial vapor that dissipate on their own. Now to talk about some real anomalies, things we've only rarely seen. The sun goes dim sometimes, like when Caesar got killed. Matter of fact, during the Civil War with Mark Antony, it stayed dim for like a year. Multiple suns have been seen at the same time on several occasions, but no more than 3. 3's the record. Same with moons. One time a burning shield darted across the sky, throwing sparks as it went. Another time someone saw a shooting star fly towards us until it was as big as the moon, and then it turned around and went back to being a normal comet. Side note, even the translator was like, I don't know what the fuck he's talking about. Finally, there are the stars Castor and Pollux. If you see both of them, it's good luck, but be advised, if one's alone, he turns into a little bastard. He can and will come down and set your boat on fire. That's the celestial sphere taken care of. Now let's move down a peg to the air. The air ends way before the moon, and it mixes with water vapor to create the weather. The sun dries up water on the earth, it goes up and turns into clouds, and then it's pushed back down again by the star forces that keep stuff on earth. We get rain and hail and such, and it keeps going round and round like some kind of water cycle. The seasons go around once a year, and we don't know exactly why, but it definitely has to do with the motion of the stars. Like some are wet or dry, hot or cold, and that influences the climate when they move. Especially Saturn, he always soaks the place going by. He's a freak, like actually. Oh, I almost forgot the dog star. This guy's nuts. It kindles the sun's vapors and
I always took interest in this because it literally says
like actually.
nobody doesn't know what the dog star is, so who is there that does not know the vapor of the sun is kindled by the rising of the dog star? So it's like, who doesn't know about this thing? Most powerful effects are felt on the east, or on the earth from this star. When it rises, the seas are troubled, wines in our cellars ferment, stagnant waters are set in motion. There's a wild beast named the Egyptian oryx. When the star rises, it stands opposite to it, looks steadfastly at it, then to sneeze as if it were worshipping it. No doubt that dogs during this whole period are particularly disposed to being rabid.
I almost forgot the dog star. This guy's nuts. It kindles the sun's vapors, and when it rises, the ocean gets upset, wine ferments, and stagnant waters are set in motion. And there's a creature called the oryx in Egypt, and when the dog star goes up, they look at it and they sneeze out of worship. It also makes dogs go rabid, hence the name. But the stars and the seasons they create have profound effects on nature, and it's not just the weather changes that do it. Some flora and fauna have weird links to the heavens. Pelagium blooms right on the winter solstice, even when hung up to dry in the house, and heliotrope follows the sun even when it's cloudy. The moon makes oysters bigger and ants lazier, and diseases in the eyes of livestock will grow and diminish based on its phase. That's just a few examples. Hey, let's talk about the winds. The ancient Greeks have published a lot of great observations about the winds. Those were warish, disconnected times, which makes their work all the more impressive. Nowadays, in this great peace, every shore of this sea welcomes Romans. And what are we doing? When's the last time we sent anybody out to investigate this world with inquiry in their heart? Plenty of expeditions, sure, but that's just because you got some shit to sell. Rather than pursue science that could benefit all of mankind, you're hawking olives in Byzantium just to watch your abacus go up. greed. But anyway, how many winds are there? The ancients recognized 4, but that's clearly not enough. The next generation overcorrected, brought it up to 12, and shit got messy, inelegant. So today, us modern folk take the middle of the road with a nice even 8 total, 2 for each quarter of the heavens, and they've got a bunch of fun names. And yeah, if we wanted to add in the old reject winds, we could. And there's even a couple extra secret winds only recognized by a select few. Plus, there's certain winds that only blow in certain regions of the world, but you know, broad strokes, it'll do you fine. These winds each blow at their various allotted times of the year, and the winter ones make for particularly rough seas. In former times, pirates were compelled, by the fear of death, to rush into death and to brave the winter ocean. Now we are driven to it by avarice. Direction isn't the only difference between the winds, though. They can all be characterized by their temperature, their moisture, and the kind of weather they tend to bring. Volturnus is dry, Septentrio brings snow and hail, Auster is sultry, Aquilo is the most healthy. Real motley crew, those winds. But while those guys are generally pretty calm, we must also consider the sudden, violent gusts we call storms. Storms are self-contained events that come in a few flavors themselves, like Eknephius, which brings thunder and lightning, or Typhon, which doesn't. Certain storms also give rise to whirlwinds, which are these giant, loud pillars of wind and moisture that destroy everything in their path. They are so dense that they can actually support themselves on the ground, and if they happen over the sea, they suck up the water as they go. Thunderstorms produce lightning, and lightning is crazy. It has this unique property where it can damage things on the inside while leaving the outside unharmed. It can empty casks of their wine without breaking the vessel itself, and it can melt gold and silver without burning the bag they're in. One time, a noblewoman named Marcia was struck by lightning while pregnant, and while the baby got fried, she herself survived without injury. Many people believe that when lightning strikes a man, it can be used to predict his future, with terms and conditions, of course. Some historians also state that man is capable of invoking lightning. The author L. Piso said that the ancient king Numa did it all the time. Then his successor, Tullus Hostilius, tried to imitate him, but he didn't do the ceremonies right, so he just got electrocuted. Is any of this true? Maybe. At the very least, I buy the fortune-telling thing. Now, we all know that we see lightning before we hear thunder. That's nothing special. It's just because light has a greater velocity than sound. It's the same event, thunder's just the sound that lightning makes. Fun fact, man is the only animal that isn't always killed by lightning. Any other creature, instant death every time, but we're special. Lightning can strike just about anything, except for laurels, seals, and eagles. They're all safe. It also never descends more than 5 feet into the ground, so if you're someone who's scared of lightning, your best bets are deep caves or a tent made out of seal skin. Besides all this normal weather, we do have records of some real weird stuff falling from the sky. It has rained milk and blood on many occasions. One time it rained flesh, and the fallen meat has rained milk and blood on many occasions. One time it rained flesh, and the fallen meat that wasn't eaten by birds just didn't rot. You know, your casual immortal meat storm. One time it rained wool, another time there was a shower of baked tiles. What a country, huh? Stones have been known to fall from the sky now and then. The Greeks like to brag about how the philosopher Anaxagoras correctly predicted such an event, but I find that dubious. We know a stone fell, it was like a wagon load big, but I think Anaxagoras just got lucky. I mean, the guy said it would fall out of the sun. What are you on about? The sun can't do a rock, it doesn't have rocks. Finally, rainbows are nothing special. We get them all the time. They don't predict the weather or anything else, they're just something that happens. Rays of sunlight hit a hollow cloud and they get refracted. And the colors are due to a mixture of clouds, air, and fire. Let's come down from the air onto the earth. Good old Mother Earth. The other 3 elements are bastards. You never know when they're gonna turn on you. Fire burns us, water pelts us as hail and floods our villages, air rages and squalls, but Earth, she's just hanging out. And what a bounty she has for us, giving us crops, flowers, medicinal plants. In her compassion, she even gave us poison, so when life sucks, we can kill ourselves quickly. And what does man do? Naturally, we take advantage of her kindness. We torture her for all the iron, timber, and stone she can bear, and then we use that iron to tear out her entrails in search of gems to put on our fingers. Do you know how many hands have to be worked to the bone just to decorate one joint of another? Honestly, if hell existed, all this greedy digging would get us there. But, of course, whatever we take from her, we all pay back in blood and bones eventually. World keeps turning. Just wish y'all weren't such ingrates about it. Anyway, as we said, the Earth is a perfect sphere, except for, you know, mountains and valleys, but grades we all pay back.
But the goddess shows herself more propitious to us, inasmuch as all wealth ends in crime, slaughter, and war, and that while we drench her with our blood, we cover her with unburied bones. Being covered with these, and her anger being thus appeased, she conceals the crimes of
Back in blood and bones eventually. World keeps turning. Just
I consider the ignorance of her nature as one of the evil effects of an ungrateful
Wish y'all
wife.
weren't such ingrates about it. Anyway, as we said, the Earth is a perfect sphere, except for, mountains and valleys, but close enough. There's a question we get all the time when people first learn about this, particularly from the commoners. They'll go, right, if Earth's a ball, why don't people on the other side fall off? To that I say, why doesn't the whole thing fall down? Where would it go if it did? Up into the other sky? That doesn't make sense. No, the Earth is right where it belongs. Then they'll say, alright, fine, but why's the ocean flat then? Guess what? It's not. Here, take a glass of water, fill it to the brim, then drop a little something in there. See that slight subtle curve? That's the ocean. You can see it when a ship goes out to sea. The bottom bit will disappear over the horizon before the mast does, and so it goes all the way around. One time some Indians got blown off course by a storm and ended up in Germany. Side note, this was not the first nor the last time the translator started his annotation with this exact 11-syllable sigh of frustration. The ocean they must have crossed had to be massive, like half the globe. Real quick, let's think about how much of the world is even inhabitable. We got one hemisphere over here, which is divided into 5 zones, right? On the top and bottom, miserable, nothing but cold and darkness. In the middle, sun's too close, burns everything, miserable. So already we only got a fifth of the place to ourselves. Then take into account all the seas and mountains and wilderness and other crap in the way, there's barely anything left. And this is what every war in history has been over, this tiny portion of what amounts to a speck in the universe. Even if you conquered the world, you'd have barely started. And how much of it can you bring with you to the grave, huh? So the Earth is in the middle of the universe, and we know this because of the equinoxes. Day and night, perfectly balanced on these 2 dates. We're right in the middle, it just makes sense. There's plenty of other proof that we live on a globe. Certain stars can only be seen from different parts of the world, and that's because the Earth's in the way. Just ask a sailor, they'll see new stars squink their way out of the horizon as they go. Also, eclipses show that the time of day depends on your east-west position. A few years back, the same eclipse of the sun, same exact event, was seen at 8 in Campania, but at noon in Armenia. Try explaining that one, planists. Here's another. One time, a courier named Philonides ran from Sicyon to Elis, which is a distance of 1,200 stadia. The way there took him 9 hours, but then the return trip took him 15. And it's not because he was tired or took a break somewhere. Brother, he ran against the sun. Likewise, the length of shadows on a given day depends on your latitude. In Egypt, on the summer solstice at noon, their sundials cast a shadow half the length of the pointy bit, whereas in Venice, at the very same hour, the shadow's as long as the pointy bit. If you keep going south, eventually you'll reach a point where the sun's straight up at the solstice. We dug a well in a town called Syene just to check, and sure enough, it's light all the way down. If you go even further south, you'll notice the sun do that twice a year at equal distances from the solstice. There's also a place in India where there just aren't shadows, ever, and as a consequence, the people there don't know what hours are. But because of the way the sun moves, you'll notice that the longest day of the year is longer the further north you go. In Alexandria on the summer solstice, they get 14 hours of daylight. In Italy, it's 15, and in Britain, it's 17. Following this pattern, we believe that at the very North Pole, it's 24, meaning they get 6 months of daylight at a time, with 6 months of night on the other side. The difference in climate based on latitude is clearly reflected in the nations that live there. For one, the Ethiopians. Let's talk about earthquakes. The Babylonian
circumstances we must add connected with celestial cause, and no doubt Ethiopians are scorched by their vicinity sun's heat, born like persons who have been burned with the beard and hair frizzled, while on the opposite, nations of skin to the light and long hair. The latter are savage from the inclemency of the climate, while the former are dull from its variableness. We learn
Ethiopians. Let's talk about earthquakes. The Babylonians used to blame these on the movements of the stars. One guy is even said to have predicted an earthquake through astrological means. Is that true? I'll let you be the judge. I, for one, believe that earthquakes are caused by the winds. Think about it. Before an earthquake, it's always very calm. The seas are tranquil. There's not a single bird in the sky. Why? No wind. They can't fly. Where'd the wind go? Underground. It gets stuck down there and it builds up until finally hell literally breaks loose. It starts off with a horrible noise like cows mooing or people fighting in the distance. Then everything shakes, hard. Whole city walls get knocked down and sometimes the earth opens up and swallows them entirely. The shaking's even noticed by people on ships who get hit by waves without any wind. Earthquakes also make well water turn cloudy and smelly. So the obvious question is, what the hell can we do about it? Well, places with a lot of natural caverns or man-made sewers seawars tend to get fewer earthquakes. That's because the underground air has an easy way to escape. Buildings that are arched or that lean against each other also tend to fare better in the event of an earthquake. Barring all else, at least things are usually over with quickly. Although some earthquakes have been known to last days, months, even 1 or 2 years straight. As for related anomalies, about a century and a half ago, 2 mountains slammed together and collapsed, and fire and smoke came from the ground where they stood. More recently, under Nero, there was a knight named Vectius Marcellus, who woke up to find that his fields and olive grounds swapped places with each other. No mayhem or destruction, just, oh, this is over here now, okay? But just as Earth swallows up land in one place, she spits it back out elsewhere. As such, islands sometimes rise up spontaneously out of open sea. We have tons of records of these events across the Mediterranean. They're often accompanied by a giant fiery explosion and loads of dead fish floating everywhere. It's said that one time some people ate these fish, and then they too immediately died. But enough of tragedies. Let's turn back to the wonders of the Earth, such as there are many caverns filled with gas that instantly kills things. Some kill only birds, others kill everything but people, and still more kill everything and people. In a few caves, those who breathe the gas instead become intoxicated and start predicting the future, as is the case with the famous oracle at Delphi. We can ascribe these effects to the divine power of nature. I mean, what else could it be? How the hell do you explain that rationally? But while most islands are attached to the earth at the bottom, there are a few that float. The Calaminae Islands are not only
I'm gonna go for it. Mama, would you come on down? I might not have a minute. Come on down, come on down, come on down to the butter barn, hold that down. I guess.
Moved by the wind, but the people on them can actually push them around with long poles to go wherever they want. There's another group of floating islands known as the dancers, so called because they move to the beat of drums played on their surface. I've got a few more miscellaneous wonders here, let me just rattle them off. In Harpasa, there's a giant rock that can be moved by one finger, but not by the force of the whole body. In Paracini, there's a type of dirt that heals all wounds. In Troas, there's a stone that makes dead bodies dissolve. Near the Indus River, there's two mountains, one of which attracts iron and the other repels it. So if you had iron nails in your shoes, you couldn't step on the one or off the other. In Argyropa, the grania plant doesn't grow, and in Crustominium, the hay springs up already rotten. Let's turn now to the tides. We know these are caused by the moon, and to a lesser degree the sun. Moon overhead, they go up, moon on the other side, they go down. A large open ocean is needed to manifest this power of the planet, which is why neither lakes nor rivers have tides. In Britain, the tide rises 120 feet. The tides do a full cycle twice a day, except in Euboea, where they do it 7 times. Aristotle said that animals only die when the tide is ebbing, but really that's only true of people. Watch. Seawater is salty, and that's because the sun evaporates all the watch. Seawater is salty, and that's because the sun evaporates all the mild sweet water while leaving all the gross crap that ends up in the ocean behind. A number of estimates have been made for the depth of the ocean, ranging from 15 stadia to who the hell knows. Seawater is also heavier than freshwater, which is why things float better on it. As with everything in nature, bodies of water have no shortage of weird stuff they get down to. Some rivers actually run underground before bursting out again elsewhere. We know they're the same river because if you chuck stuff in one, it comes out the other side. There's a lake in Judea where nothing sinks at all. In Dodona, there's a spring called the Fountain of Jupiter, and though the water there is cold as ice, it'll relight extinguished torches held near its surface. The river Melos turns sheep black when they drink from it, while the Cephasus makes them turn white. The Peneus turns them black again, and then the Xanthus makes them red. The river Astaces makes the horses there produce black milk, which the people use for food. There's a spring in the island of Andros that tastes like wine. The river Lyncestis tastes sour but gets you drunk like wine, and in Arcadia, there's a river called the Styx that kills you instantly. In Labrosis, there are 3 springs, all of which also kill you instantly, but in a much less painful fashion than the Styx. That's enough of those. From here we turn at last to the 4th element, fire. In Samosata, along the Euphrates, there's a big pool of this flammable mud they call maltha. It sticks to everything it touches, and if you set it on fire, even water won't extinguish it. Romans invaded these lands long ago, and the people there poured the stuff on our soldiers, cooked them in their armor like a crab. There are certain places in the world where fire's always burning. The summits of many mountains are home to such flames, as are the occasional crater and field. And of course, the sun and stars are no exception. What a weird thing these are, like fire needs fuel to spread and sustain itself. So what is it that can feed these flames without destroying itself in the process? There's a thinker for ye. But besides these guys, where else does fire come from? You got fires lit by men, for one. Certain stones have fire in them innately. There's the fire you get from rubbing sticks together, and there's the fire in clouds that causes lightning. You can also use concave mirrors to focus sunlight into fire, highly potent, do be careful. Sudden fires also manifest occasionally in the human body. One time when 6th king of Rome Servius Tullius was a child, he was just sleeping there when suddenly flames shot out of his freaking head. I've got more fun facts like this to drop later, but it's about time we wrap this book up. And what better way than by sizing up the entire globe? So I ran some numbers, added some distances, checked some other people's answers. I've got some estimates here on the width of the inhabit, added some to this book up.
I shall presently mention more facts of this nature and in more distinct matter in this place where these wonders are mixed up with other subjects, but my mind, having carried me beyond the mere interpretation of nature, is anxious to lead as if it were by hand the thoughts of my readers over the whole globe.
And what better way than by sizing up the entire globe? So I ran some numbers, added some distances, checked some other people's answers. I've got some estimates here on the width of the inhabited world, from the mouth of the Ganges in India to the port city of Gades in the west. These all fall around 9,000 miles, give or take 1,000. But like I said before, the uninhabited Earth extends far beyond that. Eratosthenes was a really bright dude, and he put the circumference at 31,500.
You should go. Mama. Mama submarine. Think it's done or just needs a flip? What do you think? What do you think? What do you think? What do you think? Okay.
100 miles. What a big, wild world it is. Just how wild? You'll have to tune in next time for books 3 through 6, all of which are titled An Account of Countries, Nations, Seas, Towns, Havens, Mountains, Rivers, Distances, and Peoples Who Now Exist or Formerly Existed. But for now, I'm Pliny the Elder, et gratias ago tibi, qui expectandi. The Pope's sitting at home fuming at my pronunciation right there.
What you thinking, Mama? Okay, I'll come make a sandwich then.
Most
Thank
of
you so much for getting it all ready, Mama.
Hello, the new
What? Sammy Miller instead of salmonella. Yeah. Gotta be like that, Mom. I'm going. You know? You know what I've been doing, Mom? I go in the mirror and I wait, hold on. Look out, Mama, no. I just started farting.
What, honey?
said she would eat a horse if she had a bucket of ranch. Man, that's pretty stamped. Yeah, man. Mama, what you doing? Mama, what you doing? Mama, huh? You mean my friends? You know, what a truck is like 3.5 pounds. It's 50, man. They got a big truck. You gotta go spread it out. I'll bring a couple Dr. Peppers and one of the Kool-Aid. Carrying it around for 3 days, right? Is it frozen again? Yeah, nice slushy. Frozen ones. Good to go. Slushy. It's not that close. Oh my god, oh my god.
Phone by Connie Stephanie's. There's nothing by Connie Stephanie's. We're gonna be behind us.
Yeah, you're right. There's nothing but Mama said. Hey, Mama Jane. She was a very kind woman who I believe lived a good life. With one bad moment I can think of, you know, when she got robbed. And I was like sad to see that, you know, I couldn't do anything about that.
We didn't know about it.
Are they? Are they? Are they there? Are they there? Are they there? Are you a bear? Calm down. Eat your food while it's hot. Make your sandwich. Oh, Gabriel, stop everything. The garbage guys are here. It's like, come on. Come on, man. Come on, man. my Sam niche. Sam niche, yeah. Fantastic,
Version of my short story collection, Still Lost, is coming out September 1st, and I'm going on a small tour to promote it, so if you live near one of these places, come hang out. It's free. Links in the description. Anyway, on to the video. Hey seniors, it's finally happened. I've actually followed up on a promise for a sequel. Welcome back to Pliny Explains It All, the Historia Naturalis Abridged. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go watch the first one. Today, we'll be taking a look at Book 7, titled Man, His Birth, His Organization, and the Invention of the Arts. Now you may be saying, Sam, we left off on book 2, so what the hell happened to 3 through 6? Well, I read them. Boy howdy did I read them. Let me give you just a general idea of their contents. I want you to imagine a map in front of you. It's a map of the world containing every nation, every region, every city and town, every mountain, sea, lake, and river known to man, each with their locations and borders precisely marked in relation to one another. Now, imagine you get a call from a cartographer who wants to make a reconstruction of your map. So you're like, alright, I will send it to you, like a normal person. He goes, nah, let's just do it over the phone. Write down the next 100,000 words out of your mouth and you've got a decent approximation of books 3 through 6. Pliny even goes out of his way in the intro to say, right, I'm just gonna be naming places. Everything even remotely interesting about them, I'm saving for later. So believe you me, I am doing us both a favor by skipping ahead. But on the other hand, book 7 was fascinating. Just like last time, I'll be taking you through in the exact, gloriously scatterbrained order it was written in. We're keeping the same format as well, with the original text up here and my own amateur evaluation in the form of chess.com analysis format is taking you skipping. What's interesting about them, I'm saving for later. So believe you me, I am doing us both a favor by skipping ahead. But on the other hand, book 7 was fascinating. Just like last time, I'll be taking you through in the exact, gloriously scatterbrained order it was written in. We're keeping the same format as well, with the original text up here and my own amateur evaluation in the form of chess.com analysis icons here. I should add the disclaimer that Pliny makes a lot of very specific historical claims in this book, which, unfortunately, he's kind of one of the only sources we have for this time period, so with certain events he describes, if it's entirely plausible that it maybe happened, it gets the book move icon, otherwise we'll dip into these guys. With that, let us begin. Alright, so now that I've described the entire Earth, let's move on to all those little things moving around on it. The most important of which is, of course, man. With everything she's created for us, nature is like a mother to humanity. Sometimes a good mother, other times, kind of a bitch. First off, every other living thing starts out with some level of protection from the elements. Shells, furs, feathers, skin. Scales, hides, bark. Not humans. We arrive naked and cold and screaming and pathetic. But despite living through such embarrassment, some babies later go on to become narcissists. They might not remember where they came from, but I do. Most animals are born with instinctive knowledge of how to navigate the world, be that through walking or flight or swimming. Meanwhile, a baby doesn't know shit. Literally, all it can do is weep. For this reason, many people believe they'd be better off not being born at all, or barring that, being annihilated at the first possible moment. But man is unique among the animals in all kinds of ways. He's the only one to experience ambition and greed and grief and superstition, and he's the only one who cares about what happens after he dies. Also, while an animal's problems are generally caused by other species, most of a human's problems come from other humans. And man, are there a lot of other humans. The earth is covered with all kinds of different nations, each with their own languages and customs. For example, there are many tribes that eat human flesh.
What? You didn't understand what I said? Is it something?
Something might.
Something might be kicking in a little bit.
Alright.
Would you like a hug? I have one.
Oh, yes, you have. Is this ketchup in here?
Yeah, I got some ketchup. Can't use any of it.
Well,
Spilled some on the counter. I was getting it too. You throw me a lighter for some unspecified reason. Okay, it doesn't have to be right now.
sign up.
No, they saying people really gonna be looking like this girl. Gotcha. Are you serious dressed to the beach like this?
Yeah, well, that's how you're supposed to dress at the beach, ain't you?
Are you okay?
I'm alright.
You sure your arthritis not kicking in?
My arthritis is
I'm not. They're saying people gonna be looking like this guy. Gotcha. I gotcha.
Don't you look nasty now.
Sneaky, sneaky. Now, matter of fact, hey, hold on, come here. Come on, can you get right here and give him a 360?
I don't know, you ready?
You ready? Hands up. Hey, what was your, hold on, what was your, rate Grandma 1 out of 10? What was rate Grandma 1 out of 10? That's my 9 over there. Okay, let's go.
Now, before you judge, you should remember that there used to be people who did the exact same thing right here in Italy, those being, of course, the Cyclopes. And anyway, just across the Alps, there are still people doing human sacrifices, which is basically the same thing as cannibalism. But let's take a look at just a few of the world's myriad peoples. Up north dwell the Arimaspi, a one-eyed race who constantly wage war with the Griffins in order to steal their hoards of gold. In the valley of Mount Imaus live the Abarimon, a savage people whose feet are on backwards. They're capable of running at incredible speeds, but if you take them out of their home valley, they'll suffocate, which is why few people have ever seen them. But if you think that's crazy, wait till you hear about this. Over in Albania, there are men with green eyes and white hair their whole lives, and also they see better at night than during the day. Along the Greater Syrtes, there used to be a tribe called the Scilai. Their bodies produced a substance that was poisonous to snakes. It was thus a custom of theirs to put a bunch of snakes next to their newborns. If the snakes weren't repelled, they knew the kid was a product of adultery. Among the Tribali and Illyrii, there are enchanters with 2 pupils in each eye that can literally kill you with a mean look. Plenty of other people are known to have magical body parts like this. For example, King Pyrrhus could cure diseases of the spleen simply by touching the patient with the big toe of his right foot. When they cremated him, said big toe was not consumed by the flames, so they put it in a little box for safekeeping. On certain mountains, there are men with the heads of dogs who bark instead of speaking, and they use their dog claws to catch and eat birds for some reason. There's also the Monocoli, a one-legged race who, as you might expect, are really good at hopping. Near the mouth of the Ganges live the Astomi, a hairy people with no mouths at all. Instead of eating or drinking, they subsist entirely on smells, carrying scented roots or flowers with them wherever they go. And if they take a whiff of something too pungent, they just straight up die. Beyond the Astomi are the Pygmies, who are a mere 27 inches tall. These people wage war with the cranes, which you'd feel threatened too if you were yay big. Every spring, they descend on goatback to the seashore where they they smash the cranes' eggs and young to prevent them from multiplying. The lifespans of different races can vary significantly. Remember that place in India I talked about earlier, the one where there aren't any shadows ever? Well, the people there are 8 feet tall and live to be 130, and even then they still look middle-aged when they die. But that's not the longest on record. There's a tribe called the Pandore who live to be 200. These guys are actually born with white hair that turns black when they get old. On the other side of lifespan, some races never make it past 40, some bang animals to make human-animal hybrids, and among the Kalinga of India, the women conceive at age 5 and die at age 8. So as we've already seen, the marvels of nature are many and varied. Let's now turn from interesting groups to interesting individuals, starting with some facts about birth. It's fairly common to give birth to up to 3 children at once. Any more than that is usually an omen of some kind. Except in Egypt, that's just normal there. They got something in the water. During the reign of Augustus, a woman named Fausta gave birth to 2 boys and 2 girls at once, which was no doubt a warning sign of the famine that happened right after. As for the most babies had in one sitting, the current record is 7, which was, of course, set in Egypt. Occasionally, people are born belonging to both sexes at once. We call them hermaphrodites. They were formerly looked upon as monsters, but at the present day, they are employed for sensual purposes. Now and then, people are even born belonging to multiple species. Claudius Caesar wrote that one time in Thessaly, a centaur was born and then immediately died. I even saw one of them myself, brought up from Egypt and preserved in a big thing of honey. Anyway, human birthing habits are unusual among the animals. While most other creatures only reproduce during set seasons, humans do it year-round. A successful pregnancy typically lasts 7 to 11 months. Any earlier, and sorry, kid's not gonna make it. A woman once claimed to carry a kid for 13 months, but it was during a weird inheritance lawsuit, and I don't know, I smell shenanigans. So the health of an unborn child is dependent on the lifestyle of the mother. For example, if she eats too much salted meat, the child will be born with no fingernails. Also, if she yawns during labor, she will die. And if she sneezes right after sex, instant abortion. Babies normally emerge head first. Those who come out feet first we call agrippe, and they all grow up to be troublemakers. You know that piece of shit Nero? Not only did he slither out feet first, but his mom's name? Agrippina. On the other hand, babies that have to be cut out of their mom tend to be upstanding gentlemen. Scipio Africanus was one, as well as a certain Caesarean fellow. It's well known that children inherit certain traits from their parents, such as facial features, birthmarks, moles, and scars. Sometimes these traits even skip generations. That's what happened with the Byzantine woman who had an affair with an Ethiopian man. Though her daughter shared her complexion, her grandson came out the same color as his granddad. He then became a famous wrestler. A child's facial features are strongly influenced by the minds and imaginations of the parents. This is why humans, with their powers of intellect, look all kinds of different ways, whereas, say, a lion is dumb and therefore looks like any lion. Sometimes people look just like other people even when they're not related. This was the case with 2 slave boys of remarkable beauty purchased by Mark Antony. He bought them under the impression that they were twins, only to then hear them speak wildly different languages. Needless to say, he was pissed. He went back to the slave dealer like, "What the hell, dude? You charge me twin prices for 2 completely unrelated boys." But the slave dealer was clever. He replied, "Listen, pal, of course a pair of twins would look like each other, nothing special about that. These boys came from 2 different continents, which is way more remarkable. So really, you got a good deal here. I could have charged you miracle prices." Mark Antony was like, "Huh, you know, when you put it that way, I guess this is cooler, thanks." Anyway, men are capable of making children their whole lives. Just look at King Massinissa. He had a son when he was 86. Meanwhile, women can't bear children past 50, and their monthly discharge tends to stop at around the age of 40. Fun fact, of all living things, female humans are the only ones to go through menses, and what incredible effects it has. For starters, the very presence of a woman on her period will cause must to go sour, seeds to go sterile, and plants to wither away. What's more, her gaze will dim the brightness of mirrors, blunt the edge of steel, and cause brass and iron to rust. And if she looks at a swarm of bees, they will immediately die. Also, one taste of the fallen goo will give a dog rabies. For most women, menses occurs every 30 days, with a really big one every 3 months. However, in some individuals, it never happens. These women are incapable of bearing children, and that's because said fallen goo is what babies are made out of. Hey, let's talk about teeth. Normal infants get their first teeth at the 7th month of life. On the 7th year, these fall out and new teeth take their place. Occasionally, a baby is born with its teeth already erupted. If it's male, great sign. That's how Manius Curius Dentatus got his last name, and he grew up to be a distinguished statesman. If it's female, terrible omen of things to come. A girl named Valeria was born with a full set, and the soothsayers were like, yeah, that means the city's gonna be destroyed. Out of fear, her family then sent her out to the flourishing city of Suessa Pompetia, which was razed to the ground by war shortly after. Some people are even born with one continuous bone where their teeth should be, which isn't a sign of anything in particular. All men have at least 32 teeth, except in Spain. Women, meanwhile, have fewer. How many fewer? Can't say. Human beings grow to a variety of heights. It's observed that men are getting shorter over time, with sons rarely growing taller than their fathers. This is no doubt a sign of the firestorm set to consume the world any day now. Homer had the same complaint 1,000 years ago, which makes you wonder how tall people must have been back then. After an earthquake in Crete, an upright body was exposed measuring 46 cubits in height. This was commonly thought to be the corpse of Orion. The tallest guy in modern times was a man named Gabarus, who was 9'9". On the flip side was a man named Canopus. He was a mere 2 feet and a palm in height, and was kept as a pet by Augustus's granddaughter. Also noteworthy was the 3-year-old who hit puberty, growing to 3 cubits and speaking like a grown man. He died of a seizure the following year. Men are generally heavier than women, and the bodies of all animals get heavier when they die or go to sleep. Some men are born with solid bones, devoid of marrow. They can be identified by the fact that they never sweat and never get thirsty. Also, Big Well doesn't want you to know this, but you can just stop drinking water forever if you set your mind to it. There was once a noble named Julius Viator who got dropsy in his youth. His physicians told him that the cure for fluid buildup in the body is naturally to stop putting fluids in your body. By the time he got better, Julius was so used to not drinking that he just kept going. Let's take a look at some other instances of remarkable human abilities. To begin with, history has no shortage of strong men. There was a guy who killed a man with a single finger, another who won a one-handed tug-of-war with a carriage, and let's not forget Fusius, nicknamed the Bumpkin Hercules, who had a habit of carrying his own mule around, just, because. I personally once saw a dude with 500 pounds on his chest and another 500 on his feet walk across the stage. Real shit, it was crazy. How about agility? If I asked you to name the greatest runner, you might say Philippides of marathon fame. Let me tell you, that's nothing. One of Alexander's couriers once ran 150 miles in a single day, and there's some freaks at the circus who can manage 160. Hell, even an 8-year-old once ran 75 miles from dawn to dusk. Some men are blessed with acuteness of sight. Cicero informs us that the Iliad of Homer was written on a piece of parchment so small as to be enclosed in a nutshell. Homer, famous for his good eyes. Also, during the Punic Wars, there was a man named Strabo who would sit at the tip of Sicily to keep watch on Carthage, around 90 miles away. He'd be like, oh, they're coming. I'm seeing 15 galleys in a canoe. Meanwhile, we have one example of good hearing on record. On the day the city of Sybaris was destroyed, there was a person in Olympia who was like, guys, I think Sybaris is getting mogged. Others have an unusually high tolerance for pain. A man named Anaxarchus was once tortured in order to extract information from him. In response, he chewed off his own tongue and spat it at the torturer, thus ensuring he wouldn't say anything useful at all. Still others have exceptional memories. King Cyrus knew all of his soldiers by name, and one Scipio could name every Roman. Period. The act of memorization has actually been made into an art form by certain lyric poets, such that with practice they could remember any arbitrary sequence of words. But memory is a delicate thing, being damaged by disease, injuries, and even fear. One time a guy got hit with a rock and forgot the alphabet. Another guy fell off a roof and forgot who his mom was. Since we're on the subject, let's take a look at some of the greatest minds to ever live. The award for vigor of mind goes to Julius Caesar. He could dictate 7 letters at the same time somehow, and he fought in 50 battles, which is a record. Between all of them, Caesar is responsible for the death of 1,192,000 men. Some might glorify him for this, but actually it's kind of messed up if you think about it. Meanwhile, the award for clemency and greatness of mind is a tie between Pompey the Great and Caesar again. It's close though. Pompey was an all-timer. He was about as epic as Alexander the Great and Hercules and maybe even Bacchus. Early in his career, he conquered, the entirety of Africa. That's how he got the Great added to his name, and brother, he was just getting started. Dude ended the Civil War, ended piracy, subjugated all kinds of places, defeated like 12 million men, captured 1,538 cities and fortresses, and commissioned the cool statue that I read all this from. Honorable mention goes to Cato. There are 3 great things a guy can be: an orator, a general, and a politician. Cato kicked ass at all of them, which is why he was acquitted from all 44 of his impeachment hearings. As for history's most courageous man, there's an argument to be made for a lot of guys. One big contender was LCC LCCus dentatus, which different dentatus from the one before. He fought in 120 battles, gaining 45 scars on the front of his body, yet none on the back. What does that tell you? He was also the most decorated war hero, receiving 18 victor spears.
After standing up right there, I think without a doubt.
You feel okay though.
I do feel okay, yes. I feel perhaps a bit off balance. Not dizzy. Whoa. Of course. Yes, let's look out for things, but
You done with this water?
Yeah, this is something.
Are you done with this water?
Well, I don't care about the water.
Fine, let's get it out of the way.
I swear I am okay, sweetie mama.
"25 pendants, 83. One big contender was LCCus dentatus, which different dentatus from the one before. He fought in 120 battles, gaining 45 scars on the front of his body, yet none on the back. What does that tell you? He was also the most decorated war hero, receiving 18 victor spears, 25 pendants, 83 torques, 160 bracelets, 26 crowns, a fist of money, 10 prisoners, and 20 oxen in total. The award for biggest genius, in my opinion, goes to Homer. I mean, have you read his stuff? Come on. Alexander the Great knew it. Among the spoils he took from King Darius was one of the most ornate boxes he'd ever seen. It was originally full of perfume, and Alexander was like, "Ugh, I'm a warrior, I don't wear perfume. But my god, what a beautiful box. There's only one thing suitable for a box like this. I'm putting Homer's poems in it." The most useful rules for a happy life were uttered by a man named Chilon. He kept it simple, there were only 3. Know yourself, don't be greedy, and don't get into debts or lawsuits. That guy literally died of joy, so clearly he was onto something. Now, you may be asking,
Died of joy. Died of joy. Sweet mama, would you like to do anything today? Oh, you dropped something in the toilet. Maybe I'll lay down a moment.
Pliny, who is the lawsuits? That guy literally died of joy, so clearly he was onto something. Now, you may be asking, Pliny, who is the best guy? Well, the answer is Scipio Nasica. Out of every guy, he was declared the best. The Senate took a vote on it under oath. They were like, yep, he's him. He later died in exile. The greatest act of affection for another human was committed in Rome by a lower class woman. She had recently given birth and started periodically visiting her mother, who was in jail. Whenever she went, the guards would search her to make sure she wasn't smuggling in food for her mom. Turns out, she found a way around this policy. It was eventually discovered that every visit, she would nourish her own mother with the milk of her breast. So the jailer said, look, this is a crazy thing to do for anyone, let alone a prisoner. There must have been some kind of mistake here. No woman who is this dearly loved can possibly be evil. So you know what? You're free to go. One of the greatest physicians to ever live was Asclepiades of Prusa. He was famous for figuring out a way to cure diseases using wine. One time during a funeral, the body was getting loaded onto the pyre when suddenly Asclepiades broke in. He goes, hold up, step aside, I got this. Ended up saving his life. Asclepiades was so confident in his own abilities, he made a bet with fate, publicly declaring, right, if I ever so much as get sick, I will stop practicing medicine forever. He won his wager, for he met his death at an extreme old age by falling down stairs. But forget all these upper crusters, how about the greatest slave? By virtue of the market, this can actually be answered quantitatively.
The greatest slave. Then Pliny explains it all too.
His death at an extreme sick in his own abilities, he made a bet with fate, publicly declaring, right, if I ever so much as get sick, I will stop practicing medicine forever. He won his wager, for he met his death at an extreme old age by falling down stairs. But forget all these upper crusters, how about the greatest slave? By virtue of the market, this can actually be answered quantitatively. Such a distinction goes to a grammarian by the name of Daphnis, who sold for a price of 700,000 sesterces. Sam sidebar, based on prices from around Pliny's time, that's equivalent to around 1,400 donkeys or 1.4 million loaves of bread. Some comic actors nowadays have technically gone for higher prices, but they all buy their own freedom, so that doesn't count. It's their own life, of course they pay above MSRP. Anyway, here's the real question. Who is the happiest person to ever live? Happiness is so subjective that it's hard to get a definite answer here. Actually, you know what? Never mind. Trick question. Nobody on Earth is happy. Even somebody who gets whatever he wants would be constantly haunted by the fear of losing it, and someday he will. The Thracians, in their vanity, thought up a way to calculate their overall happiness. At the end of each day, they'd put a pebble in a jar. On a good day, they'd put a white one, and on a bad day, they'd put a black one. Then they'd look back and say, hey, I had 6 times as many good days this week as bad ones, so I must be a happy person after all. This man is lying to himself. Let's take a closer look at the days in question, alright? Monday through Saturday, I ate some olives and they were good. Sunday, my dog died. These things don't balance each other out, that's still a net negative. Up to the present day, only one person has had the nerve to give himself the last name of Happy, and that was El Sila. You know, the guy who marched on Rome, revived the dictatorship, and murdered thousands of his fellow citizens to consolidate his power. If that's where you derive your happiness from, you're a fucking disgrace. Honestly, we should call him unhappy. Owned. Also, he died of flesh rot, deservedly, so, you know, didn't last forever. On the topic of happiness, one time, King Gyges, the most powerful man in the world at the time, asked the oracle at Delphi if anyone was happier than himself. The oracle
Sweet mom? Yeah, it's definitely doing something without any shadow of a doubt. I feel laggy in my movements. Certainly a bit off balance. I'm sitting down.
said, yeah, Aglaus. Who? Aglaus. He's an old guy in Arcadia with a small farm that he never leaves, because why would he? Look at him, he's just vibing. Let's circle back to human lifespans. What single person lived the longest? There's a bunch of ancient kings that are claimed to have lived anywhere from 150 to 800 years, but personally I think it's all a load of crap. For one thing, different nations have different ways of counting years. The Arcadians actually counted each season as a whole year, so they're cheating. In Egypt, they count each cycle of the moon as a year, just so they can be like, yeah, the pharaoh lived to be 1,000. Forget all that. Let's look at some actual verifiable info here. Among Romans, the highest on record was one T. Polonius, who made it to 150. Besides him, there's a bunch of folks who have made it at least a handful of years past 100, mostly senators and nobles. One mime. She was even still performing at the triple-digit mark. But even in these cases, the gift of life is all too brief. The years alone are misleading. We spend half of it asleep, for one. Our years as a baby don't count. We don't know what the
Mama, whenever you get off the toilet, let me know.
hell's going on. Also, being old sucks so bad that we shouldn't count that either. Honestly, the best thing a guy can hope for is to die young. Otherwise, he has to watch himself lose his senses, his strength, his teeth, his GI tract. That's not living, that's decaying. But death comes for us all, and there are plenty of signs that a patient's death is imminent. One is if the patient carefully folds the edge of their bed sheet. If they're hard to wake up, that's another bad sign. There's involuntary discharges, and I won't elaborate. But the biggest signs are an irregular and feeble pulse, and also just kind of looking a certain way. All things considered, though, it's actually pretty difficult to say for sure if a person is really dead. A consul named Aviola once came back to life right in the middle of his own cremation, and the flames were so violent that all anyone could do was watch. Sometimes the soul leaves the body for an extended period of time and returns after. This was the case of one Hermotinus of Clazomenae, whose soul would just dip for a while, wandering far off lands while his body laid lifeless. Then he'd wake
Alright. What? you have 5 politics, and you went to the store with some idolatrix.
Wake up with
Where
all
were
kinds of
we?
news of time, and were so violent that all anyone could do was watch. Sometimes the soul leaves the body for an extended period of time and returns after. This was the case of one Hermogenes of Clazomene, whose soul would just dip for a while, wandering far off lands while his body laid lifeless. Then he'd wake up with all kinds of news about the places he visited. There was also once a boy who took a nap in a cave and woke up to find himself in a much different world. Turns out he had slept for 57 years. There are tons of other stories floating around about people briefly coming back to life and dying again, but you know most of them are made up, because they usually go something like this, right? Oh yeah, I was alone with my dead brother when he got up and clapped his hands and told me exactly how his funeral should go and where he hid his gold, and also he made me the sole heir of his estate. Anyway, the best kind of death to have is a sudden one, and thankfully that's a fairly common and natural occurrence. Plenty of people have died of joy, like that Kylo guy I mentioned earlier. There was once a professor of logic named
That's a really
Diodorus who
good blink and you'll miss it type joke that Salmonella himself put in. Like, death is sudden, it just goes, whoop, and boom, it's there. This is a really great reflection of humanity. It's a gorgeous thing how you can condense it into a single joke of death being so sudden and whoop-dee, but so nicely illustrated. Kid-like.
There are tons of other stories floating around about people briefly coming back to life and dying again, but you know most of them are made up, because they usually go something like this, right? Oh yeah, I was alone with my dead brother when he got up and clapped his hands and told me exactly how his funeral should go and where he hid his gold, and also he made me the sole heir of his estate. Anyway, the best kind of death to have is a sudden one, and thankfully that's a fairly common and
What is
natural
the freeze
occurrence.
frame?
Best kind of death to have is a
Boom. There, that's all it is. That's all it is. And it really encapsulates humanity. Isn't that incredible?
sudden one, and thankfully that's a fairly
He did not spend much time on that.
common and natural occurrence. Plenty of people have died of joy, like that Kylo guy I mentioned earlier. There was once a professor of logic named Diodorus who couldn't immediately answer a tricky question his friend posed and subsequently died of embarrassment. Plenty more die without any apparent cause at all, just going about their day. I've got a bunch of examples here of guys dying while putting on their shoes, after giving a speech, after stubbing their toe, while applying ointment to their patient's eye, while reaching for cake, while eating an egg, while having sex. It can happen at any time. And after that, it's time to dispose of the body. As you've probably gathered, we burn bodies in Rome nowadays. It used to be that we'd bury people, but during the foreign wars, a lot of guys got dug up, which nobody wants to get dug up, you know? So we switched to cremation. Anyway, so here we stand at the end of man's journey through life. Only one question remains. What happens after we die? I'll give it to you straight. We go back to the same place as before we were born. Pure oblivion, that's it. Humans in their vanity have dreamt up all kinds of fantasies about the afterlife, with immortal souls or reincarnation or a second life as some shade underground. People will even pay honors to the spirits of the departed like there's some kind of god now. But he ain't even a guy anymore. It all stems from the imaginations of people about the afterlife, with immortal souls or reincarnation or a second life as some shade underground. People will even pay honors to the spirits of the departed like there's some kind of god now. But he he ain't even a guy anymore. It all stems from the imaginations of people who are scared of non-existence. Well, you shouldn't be. Matter of fact, it's the best case scenario. Non-existence is as peaceful as it gets. And anyway, we got enough to worry about in this life. There's no reason at all to get yourself all worked up about the next one. So thank you for joining me in this grand tour through human existence. Real quick before I go, here's a giant list of every invention and their inventors and 3 dedicated chapters about the
Let's look at one. Dantes was first he passed over in a ship from Egypt to Greece. Believed his time they used to sail.
alphabet barbers and sundials for some reason. But that's all for now. See you next time on Book 8, The Nature of the Terrestrial Animals, which I will present eventually. Plenty out.
Plenty out. My eyes are watering.
Hey everybody,
I
like.
don't know why. I die? Do I die? Do I die? Don't have anything to lose, so do I die? That generator? 8 hours. Transmitter. Don't know what this does. Weird. Mushroom. Stuff I don't get trapped, stuff I don't, stuff I don't. Oh yeah. guess. Garbage. Daily reset. Black. Advanced rifle bullets. Lost tribute. I mean, hey, why not, man? Impressive to see how the clusters and server clusters and stuff, they can make money, man. They really can, because people will pay this. They will. Ranking every Wendy's location. Bro, what? Freddy Fazbear sprites? There's no way. There's no way. That's a joke, right? That's gotta be AI. So AI.
Silly Rick hitting you with another Rickasode. Just want to shout out my boys at youtube.com for hosting these videos. Today I'm going to be telling you the best Wendy's establishments from around the United States. I'm ranking every single one in the country so you know which one to go to get french fries. This one, you're not glad to start me off on this one. This is Silly Rick hitting you with another Rickasode. Just want to shout out my boys at youtube.com for hosting these videos. Today I'm going to be telling you the best Wendy's establishments from around the United States. I'm ranking every single one in the country so you know which one to go to get french fries. This one, you're not glad to start me off on this one. This I don't know, clean bathrooms, and looks like he's going over to check the other stall now. Checking both of them. Thank you for that. Now I can review this in peace. I mean, look at this. This bathroom is spotless for a Wendy's. This is incredible. The button doesn't appear to work though on the toilet. I'm gonna have to knock points for that. And I stand corrected. Okay, that's a B plus establishment. That is a great Wendy's. Okay, this one again. Okay, yeah, he starts in the bathroom. I remember this, and then he goes to the other stall, and it was very clean in there. It was a B plus if I remember. I didn't know we were going to Memphis location. Oh, here we go. Yeah. Here we go. When you're talking chili, frosty, milk, or cookies, there's some simple things that you want to know.
Like chili comes in large and small, both for the dining room, and the cups are to go.
Gotta know.
Always got to make sure that you stir it right.
True.
Before you put the chili in the bowl of cup.
I'm leaving, actually. I'm going to this one right now. Goodbye, guys. See you later.
Blue
Goodbye.
Wendy's is crazy.
This dumb one, we're showing him this. This dumb one sucks. I come here every Saturday and stand here for hours and nothing happens. I don't get any food. I don't get anything. I don't get any recognition. And they covered up the sign in shame because they're ashamed of this establishment.
The Wendy's right here is also covered with the white tarp.
Probably because they're embarrassed of this one. They don't want people to know this is a Wendy's. I come here and I get nothing. This is a dumb and idiotic Wendy's with a no food policy. I never get food. You buffoons! You achieve nothing in this place. But it's pretty clean. I gotta give them that. And, if you never serve any orders, then you can't ever mess any orders up. So they're actually pretty smart for that. And I'll go, I gotta go D plus on this one. Okay, again with the toilet one. Stop showing me this one. I'm knocking it down from a B plus to a B. Stop showing me that one.
Chili can be served with cheese. It can. Fill a third cup apple with the greatest kind. Sprinkle on the top and then put the bowl in the middle.
This is a different Wendy's from the toilet one. Could we get the video of the toilet one back on screen for a little, for just... Okay, that's enough. So yeah, this is a different one, and I think this one is in Idaho, I believe.
Minneapolis, Minnesota.
Yes! You love to see that. When they actually put the paper towels in there. I hope I don't regret this. A+, that's beautiful. That's a beautiful Wendy's. Got all the little minions in there. Little minion guys.
Okay.
If you're ever in the Arkansas area, this is a must-do experience. This is a one-of-a-kind Wendy's. You got this guy in the middle dancing with the sign, doing these incredible dance moves, and I believe he's classically trained, and the service does take a hit because he's playing with the sign instead of doing the burgers, so there is a trade-off, so it's a C+ overall. Didn't we do this one already? Let him check the other room, then I'll know. Spotless. Yeah, we did this one already.
Milk and cookies if you please.
Please.
Milk tender reach and check the expiration date.
Says it's expired.
Serve it with a cup with an open side up.
Ohio does it a little bit different.
Bro, with the open side up of the cup? You gotta be kidding me. Like, that's gotta be an instruction? Oh, God. Welcome home, Mama. I love you. I stepped on something. It hurts pretty bad. I stepped on something. It hurts pretty bad. Yeah. Stepped on something. It hurts pretty bad. Well, let's say what? Welcome home, Mama. Welcome grown, Mama. Welcome home, Mama. Oh no, the Wendy's in Massillon, Ohio. No! Not the Wendy's in Massillon, Ohio. Not the Wendy's with the Billy of Ohio.
Ohio does it a little bit different. You get a much smokier flavor from. You get a much.
Open side up.
Ohio does it a little bit different. You get a much smokier flavor from the way that they operate, and the food is actually phenomenally fresh. It's super hot in there. It's just at what cost is really the thing, and it's just not a safe environment to eat or work. So I really can't give this. I can't sign off on this really, even though I do love the food. I got to go B- on this one because it's on fire all the time.
You're in a mood for a baked potato and a biggie drink.
Yeah.
This Wendy's can actually read your mind, which makes it very convenient to order here.
How was your trip? Still rather. Swaggy. trifling, swagged out. Yeah.
Big barbecue this weekend, so you're just
Quit asking how I'm feeling. I don't mean that disrespectfully, of course, but like, it's just weird. That's how it is, Mom. How it is a very weird high. Very weird. Feel weird. You feel like you're gonna throw up for a moment, but you're fine. I wish I didn't have this pain in my foot. Would you help me out with the soak, or would you rather look into whatever it is? I'd like that. I would like a soak. I want to be sitting down either way. And I was the same way. Okay, you didn't have to pull that. Could have been left
Let me
that
look
there.
at your foot in the bathroom with the light. It's so dark, Gabriel. Why are you being so weedy about it?
Shower with the hour. Tag hour.
having 5 chicken nuggets.
Order here.
Big barbecue this weekend, so you're just having
It's very.
a baked potato and a biggie drink.
This Wendy's can actually read your mind, which makes it very convenient to order here.
Big barbecue this weekend, so you're just having 5 chicken nuggets for 99 cents and a side salad.
How do you do that?
Well, he's actually able to look into the very depths of your soul, and he can actually see every event that has ever happened to you throughout your entire life. And he looks at where you are in life and who you are. He thinks about every characteristic that makes you who you are, and he thinks, you know what, this guy wants chicken nuggets right now. For the ability to read the human mind flawlessly, gotta go beyond this Wendy's, and I'm feeling like a Baconator right now. Both Wendy's barely ever catches on fire, and it's the home of the incredibly innovative Wendy's Garden Spot. This is the only Wendy's in America that is completely vegetarian. There's no burgers, no meat, and you have lettuce as a food. You have other foods like from vegetarian options, and I love the spicy chicken sandwich from Wendy's, so I would never go here. But if you're ever in the Seattle area and you have a boat that's fast enough to catch up to their boat, this is a great choice if you're a vegetarian.
It's time for Chicken Temptation, Wendy's new Spanish website. And hi, I'm Tanya Hutchins.
Wait, don't tell me your name yet. I'm gonna use my mystical powers like Wendy's to read your mind and tell you what your own name is. Let me guess. Wenda. This one has a chicken guy in there.
Hey, the chicken nugget deal? No.
Chicken guy sucks.
Absurd.
Actually, he clucks. Chicken guy, you're the guy that keeps putting this one out. This is not a good Wendy's. I don't feel safe here. Pain is our recipe. There's not a good feeling from this Wendy's. They stole that slogan from Taco Bell. Who are all these graves for? This is not a good sign. These are all people that ate the 4-cheese Baconator Supreme. This is so inconvenient. You have to get out of the car and get your own honey. Oh, that's disgusting. The food comes out of a morgue. Are you kidding me? Oh no. There's nothing happy about this meal. Except for those milkshakes. Am I right or am I right?
The manager of this store started with me in 1985, He met his wife at Wendy's, started having kids, and
In the Wendy's?
when their oldest boy got back from his mission, he started working at Wendy's, and he met his wife at Wendy's.
This Wendy's has the most riveting storyline of any of the locations.
It's just like this great experience from the minute you walk in to when you walk into the menu. Now,
I don't walk into the menu, only you do, lady. I don't fall for that trick anymore. This Wendy's is a 5-star Wendy's. The fries are cooked. Wendy's Wi-Fi compatible. Electricity technology. They put roses on the table?
We also have a 100-inch fireplace. It's an electronic one, so the little kids won't get burned on it. Here we have a 12-foot long bench with chairs around it.
12-foot long bench with chairs around it. 1,200 flowers. There's more flowers at this one than at Wendy's garden spot. Look how happy they are to see me. Hi. Hi, they love me here. I give this one about a B+.
Cookies should be whole, never broken or cracked. Put them on the tray. What a great snack. Chili, frosty milk, and cookies, simple as that. Go have yourself some fun, 'cause you got the knack.
Thank you for helping me, Mama. I love you very. Keep smelling something weird. Is that me? I don't know. I don't know.
Thoughts on Little B. This game.
I love you so much, my mama. I'm just appreciative. You're not, in a moment like this, I'm thankful that you're not some bimbo that went out, pumped 7 kids, and it's a screaming house. It's a nice little peaceful spot in a hood, but you couldn't have expected that. And it's not a gunshot-riddled hood. It's quite quaint if you think about it. A Muslim hood in America. Uh-huh.
Collection. I'm the famous rapper in the world. Today, we're looking at Little B's video game collection. And first off, how you gonna be called Little B when the B is capitalized already? I'm destroying this man's entire career.
I feel like I'm one of the best gamers.
Alright, so Little B is already saying he's one of the best gamers. I don't know his KD. I'm strictly going off of his collection in this video, so be careful. Okay, I'm seeing Hitman 2.
Classics.
Okay.
Let's keep going. Classics.
Enter the Matrix. Okay, now that is actually very disputable whether or not that's a classic.
Okay.
GTA 3.
Classic. Kessin.
Tech.
Bringing back memories.
Max
okay,
Payne.
Max Payne.
Yeah, classic.
Metal Gear Solid 2.
Classic.
SmackDown vs. Raw. Classic. Let's go.
Debatable.
SmackDown vs. Raw 2006. Classic. Let's go. Vice City. Classic.
Classic.
Max Payne 2.
The Fall of Max Payne. Classic. Goes to the Flamingo Show.
Terminator. Fucking classic. I haven't played it yet.
How do you know if it's a classic if you haven't played it yet, Little B? That's...
Mortal Kombat. Classic. I haven't played it yet.
Octopath Traveler. I've never played the game. Classic.
Real Spider-Man fans know what's up. Spider-Man 3. Classic.
Classic.
State of Emergency.
I don't know about that one.
Classic. Siren. It's alright.
Holy shit. That game must fucking suck ass.
Silent Hill. Classic. Let's go. Soldier of Fortune. I haven't played it yet.
Classic.
Duplicate of Max Payne.
Classic. Always gotta have 2 of Max Payne 2. That's why it's called that. You get the full storyline this way.
Final Fantasy 4. I got it back. Classic.
That's actually Final Fantasy 8, Little B.
What are you talking about? Metal Gear. Classic.
Maddens. Both Maddens.
Oh, there's more than that.
It's SmackDown vs. Raw. You know what to do.
The fuck is that?
Oh my god. I'm telling you, man, I got classic.
Classic Bane.
Castlevania.
Fantasy 8 Little B. Line this way.
Final Fantasy 4, I got it back. Classic.
That's actually Final Fantasy 8 Little B.
What are you talking about? Metal Gear. Classic.
Men's. Both men's.
Oh, there's more than that.
It's SmackDown vs. Raw. You know what it do.
The fuck is that?
Oh my god. I'm telling you, man, I got classic.
Classic Bane.
Castlevania. PlayStation. Classic. Okay, swear to that.
Huh?
Yeah. Classic. Donkey Kong. Oh yeah, Donkey Kong Country.
Hell yeah.
Classic.
True
already know.
games. True classics now.
Aladdin.
Aladdin, Super Nintendo, all-time classic. Fuck the Genesis version.
Minor collection today. Stop. Don't look at that. That's for me personally.
I'm not gonna lie, I was a little dismissive at first, but Little B actually has a...
For me personally. Minor collection today. Stop. Don't look at that. That's for me personally.
I'm not gonna lie, I was a little dismissive at first, but Little B actually has a decent collection. I'm gonna give him about a B, and that's, you know, that's the highest rating I can give on this channel. Next rapper, here we go.
La 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 la. Hello everyone.
Already, this is an incredible rapper. Call of Duty t-shirt, Assassin's Creed poster, classic.
Cool Borders 2001.
That game is so cool. Too scary.
Call of Duty Finest Hour, there it is.
Well, let's just say that this wasn't the franchise's finest hour. Kessin, FIFA Ball.
2003.
Kessin.
We got Friends.
What the fuck is that? Classic. Next rapper.
Cool Borders 2001.
That's Coolio's favorite game.
Final Fantasy VII, another one of my prized possessions. Unfortunately, I don't have Disc 1.
You don't need Disc 1. That's really just bonus content.
I only have Disc 2, and for Disc 3, I actually traded Disc 3 for Need for Speed V-Rally, so... yeah.
Final Fantasy VII, second disc only, classic.
I'm not even sure if Disc 2 works. Then I have Disc 3 of the World of Warcraft installation.
Classical. World of Warcraft Disc 3 installation disc. Install all the 3D models of the dwarves and gnomes onto your computer. Classic.
Madagascar Karts. Classic.
Better than Mario Kart.
Mario vs.
Donkey Kong.
Donkey Kong Miniland Mayhem. Nicktoons Battle for Volcano Island.
Nicktoons Battle for Volcano Island. Classic.
Mario Golf Toadstool Tour. I like golf. Sue me. Mario Superstar Baseball.
Why do you have that?
I like golf. Sue me. Bikini Bottom. Everybody already knows about that game. It's a classic. The SpongeBob movie game. Have not played this yet.
Never played it. Classic.
Star Wars Bounty Hunter. The camera controls are asinine. We play...
No, we don't. Classic, though.
Super Paper Mario.
Dumb.
Super Mario Sluggers.
Dumb.
I like golf. Sue me. Super Mario Galaxy.
Ooh, true classic. True classic. True classic alert. Classic game in the building. Classic. Masterpiece. Game classic of all time. Greatest game of all time.
Can I make a confession? I've never beat this game. I think I played the first level of it.
What the fuck?
Kung Fu Panda on the Wii. Kung Fu Panda on the Wii.
Nicktoons, MLB. I'm the most famous rapper in the world.
That's a classic right there.
Netflix installation disc for the Nintendo Wii. You gotta have that. You gotta have that if you're serious about gaming.
Dead Rising.
Dead Rising classic.
Stranglehold.
John Woo Stranglehold classic.
Dead Rising.
Dead Island actually.
Dead Island. Saints Row Double Pack, which includes Saints Row 1 and 2.
You get them both. All-time masterpiece.
Two Worlds 2.
You get them both. You get both Two Worlds.
Two Worlds.
Never mind. How much money you want to bet he doesn't say it right?
Call of Jurassic Cartel.
Pay the money.
Legendary.
Legendary game.
Dark Sector.
Better than Dark Souls.
Madden 03. Classic game. Classic. Another classic. Harry Potter in the Goblet of Fire. Classic. Sonic 2 Adventure Battle. Right? No, Sonic Adventure 2 Battle. People always get mad at me for saying that in the wrong order, but
Motherfucker!
The only Sonic game I've really ever played.
Now I'm actually mad.
A lot of people ask me, hey, you like Sonic? And I'm like...
You ain't like that. You're like this. Get the hell out of here.
We got 50 Cent. Blood on the Sand.
Next rapper.
SpongeBob Hero Pants.
SpongeBob SquarePants, actually.
CSI. Crime Scene.
It's got Morpheus? Classic.
This one.
There it is.
Hannah Montana the movie.
It's actually a video game.
The Night of the Museum, Battle of the Smithsonian. I cannot pronounce that word.
It's pronounced Smithelodian.
What is up, guys? It's me, back in another video.
Now this is one of the realest rappers and gamers. Now here we go.
Call of Duty World War II, another great game.
World War II, one of the most famous wars.
It's a great game, great graphics, great guns.
Hell yeah.
I'm gonna give it a 9 out of 10.
IGN hired this kid right now.
Grand Theft Auto 5.
Hell yeah, brother. One of the all-time best.
I've sort of gone off this a little bit. I don't know why. I mean, I have Fortnite and everything.
Uh-oh.
I have Fortnite and everything now.
Yeah, I mean, you got Fortnite now. You can pretty much trade that in for $5.
I do not have Fortnite on this, but I do have it downloaded on my Xbox. And obviously, that's a 10 out of 10.
Obviously, 10 out of 10 for Fortnite. Easily.
Yeah, Halo Master Chief Collection.
Yeah.
It's good. It's not the best, but it's good.
Not good like Fortnite, though.
7.5. How about that? 7.5.
Next one is Chicken Little.
Stuart Little. I wonder if he has the PC version.
I also have the PC version of this as well, in case you're wondering.
Huh.
Next one is Indiana Jones: The Original Adventures.
I wonder if he has the Nintendo DS version of this.
I also have the Nintendo DS version of this game as well, in case you're wondering. Next one is Kung Fu Panda.
Oh, there's no fucking way he's got the PC version of that one.
I also have the PC version of this game as well, in case you're wondering. And that's it for part 1.
Next rapper.
Revenge of the Flying Dutchman.
Game sucks.
One of my favorite games of all time.
Uh-oh.
One of my favorite games of all time also. One of my favorite games of all time also. One of my favorite games of all time also. One of my favorite games of all time. One of my favorite games also. One of my favorite games of all time also. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Nightmare 3.
Oh, he hates this one. He hates this game.
Again, one of my favorite games of all time. Super Monkey Ball Adventure.
Now, nobody likes that game.
One of my favorite games of all time, too.
Scooby-Dooby-Doo.
One of my favorite games of all time, also. Bratz.
Whoa. You're playing girl games? Girls rock? Uh-oh. What are you gonna play, Barbie next? Uh-oh, playing some girl games, huh?
Again, it's not my game. Just so you know, this is my sister game, so.
Oh, that's his little sister's game. Okay, that makes sense. Yep, that makes sense.
Classic.
Classic.
Goddammit. Pokey Snap. WCW, NWO Revenge, classic, man, classic. What are you talking about? Classic.
Oh, shit. He's got the Sopranos.
Well, this game's going down in history.
Don't you fucking say it, Little B. Don't you fucking...
Classics.